Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another episode of the Kings of the South podcast, an NFC South podcast. We are your hosts. I'm Corey Vereen. That's my man Thomas Hodges right there. It's been a while. Been about 3 weeks to be exact. And in those 3 weeks, uh, my wife had COVID. I had COVID. My son had COVID, and Mr. Trailblazer over here, set his sights to new areas of the country, went and did a little bit of traveling. But enough of that. We back now. We healthy. We ready. We got a lot to get into about our respective teams and the rest of the NFC South. But before we do that, TJ, how you doing, buddy?
Uh, I'm doing okay.
Yeah. Okay. Just okay.
I'm doing all right. You know. I'm here.
It's all we can be, brother. It's all we can be. So yeah, let's not waste time. Let's get straight to it. The last time we talked, guys, a lot has happened. Three games has happened, and over the course of those three games, my Atlanta Falcons went 1-2 with two brutal. No, wait, no. Has it been four games? No, it's
I
been
think
two.
I think we last talked when we played the Saints or the Seahawks. Seahawks.
So that was week three.
Yeah.
So three games has passed,
Yeah, roughly.
and so my Falcons lost two.
You lost to the Texans.
Lions. No, yeah, no. Jaguars and Toy Story. We beat uh
The Texans.
Texans, and then we just lost two today to the Washington Commanders, 24-16.
Ugh.
During that time, your Carolina Panthers have lost three straight. I can't remember the West team. You're gonna have to remind me, buddy.
Oh yeah, I got you. I got you. Minnesota Vikings, Detroit Lions, and Miami Dolphins. So
Yeah. And
only one of those games was close, and that was the Vikings.
the New Orleans Saints went, I want to say 1-2 as well. Uh,
Yeah, they lost today to Houston. They won last week.
against the Patriots, and then they lost against the Packers.
Actually, I think they played the Bucks the week before, didn't they? Because
Oh
yeah,
yeah,
that was the
they
week
did.
that Mike Evans got injured.
Yeah, because they got beat, they got dominated. And your Tampa Bay, you're leading, the reigning defending Kings of the NFC South,
Yeah,
Tampa Bay Buccaneers, went 2-1 in that stretch.
yeah,
Well, no, they went 1-1 because they had a bye week.
yeah. They had a bye week last week, so they've gone 1-1 the last 3 weeks, counting the bye.
Yeah,
So yeah, they are technically right now the division leader.
with the next week is a very pivotal game. It's between my Falcons and Bucks.
Yeah,
Winner takes sole possession of the NFC South.
yeah. Where's that at? Atlanta?
No, no, it's
Ooh,
not.
in Tampa.
Yep.
Well, I hope Desmond brings his best road performance of the year.
You know, I'm wearing my Matt Ryan jersey right now because I forgot what it was like to cheer for a real quarterback, and I needed a reminder. Um, the year's not going the way I thought it would. Like
I mean, at
maybe
least y'all
record
got some
wise,
wins.
yeah. You know what?
I said, at least y'all got some wins.
Yeah. Let's get what is standing out so far to you about this season? What's standing out? Like whether it be your team or any other team, it's just an open forum. We need to heal, folks. That's what we're saying right now because for all of us, Saints fans, for Panthers fans, for Falcons fans, we weren't expecting this year. We were all expecting to compete and like dominate the division. Bucks, I know y'all just happy to be here. Y'all do y'all thing. Keep up the good work. Except for next week. Except for next week.
Yeah.
But, yeah. What's standing out to you?
Just the continuous week in and week out unpredictability of this season. I feel like this season has not gone the way most people thought it would. I mean, even at the top, the teams that are 5-1, you got Miami, you got Detroit. People predicted San Francisco and Philadelphia to be near that at this point in the season. But you have some surprise teams who are 5-1. You have the lone wolf, 0-6, Carolina Panthers, which if you would have told me this 7-8 weeks ago before the season started, I would have thought you were crazy. I thought we could have at least won 2 of these games going into our bye week, and we've won 0. So the MVP race right now is really between, I mean, you can argue Pat Mahomes and Tua and Tyreek Hill. I mean, those 3 players, I mean, everybody kind of predicted Mahomes would be near that level.
Yeah.
I don't think a lot of people would have said Tua at this point through 6 weeks. And yeah, I mean, it's just been very unpredictable week in and week out. The games are just very competitive, whether it's one side or the other, or it's a dead even split. Today, I didn't expect you guys to lose to the Commanders. I thought for sure, with how bad their offensive line has been, that you guys would be able to feast. And needless to say, they did a good job moving the ball against you boys. And
Well, well,
Terry McLaurin had a game. Surprisingly, Terry McLaurin struggled all season.
we held Sam Howell to 156-yard passing. We had 5 sacks, but none of it mattered because our offense couldn't do anything in the red zone. We'll move the ball down the field. Terrible play calling.
Yeah,
We're handing off to Tyler Algier in the red zone, and I get it. He is a good back, but we drafted someone 8 overall
yeah,
who should get some red zone touches. You know,
yeah.
Kyle Pitts finally got in the end zone. Shout out to Kyle Pitts, fantasy owners. He's back.
Drake Glennon had over 100 yards.
Yeah. Um, we just couldn't run the ball.
Yeah, you
We
couldn't.
could not run the ball, and I knew.
Which, yeah, I was about to say that's not too surprising because
Yeah,
Washington has a great front 7.
absolutely. So I knew that was going to give us issues, but it's just frustrating.
Yeah,
Despite throwing 2 interceptions in consecutive drives, we still had a chance to win that game.
yeah,
And what happens? You're in the red zone, 3rd down, you spike the ball. No, 2nd down, you spike the ball to preserve a timeout. We couldn't get the play call in time. So we had to burn our final timeout while we were at home. We couldn't get the play call in at home. In our home stadium, we couldn't get the play call in. That's
yeah.
unacceptable. You can't win like that. And then the coup de grace, the cherry on top, Desmond Ritter, for some reason, that escapes me right now, while pressure is bearing down on him, he just throw a just up in the end zone. Just I don't know what else to call it, folks. That's what it was. The meme, they be like, F it, Tyreek Hill down there somewhere. That's what he did. He just threw it up.
Yeah.
And surprise, surprise, pick number 3. It was a terrible game from Desmond Ritter, and I'm about I'm gonna be honest though. I'm about one more bad game of Desmond Ritter away from just go ahead and starting charting quarterbacks in the draft. Just
Yeah.
doing my research. Uh,
His last pick, I'm pretty sure that was it's supposed to be a slant play to
oh,
Bijan.
to Bijan, yeah, and he threw it
Yeah.
behind him. Yep,
I seen that on
yep.
my TV when I they had switched to the Falcons game and they showed that drive and it was just a bad throw. I mean, it was Jamin Davis, the linebacker
On
for
Bijan
Washington. He was on the outside, lined up
at
on
corner.
Bijan as a corner against Bijan. Now, if they would have put Bijan on a streak route, I think he would have had a great opportunity to beat the linebacker, but they just had him run a slant.
Well, he still had him beat. It was the ball was it. I don't want to get into it anymore.
Yeah,
I'm getting upset. Let's move on because this is a
tough
rough week.
loss.
This is a rough week for everyone in the NFC South. We all lost. So
Yeah.
whose L we gonna talk about now? Should we talk about you guys'?
Yeah, man. Let's get it over with. I mean, I said to you last week, I know we haven't recorded in about 3 weeks.
Mhm.
Apologies for that, by the way. We've both been busy.
Yeah.
Um, and I've been recovering from my heartbreak because every week this team just finds a new way to let me down. The Minnesota game, we were controlling that game for the most part, containing Jefferson. He had under 100 yards that game. And we end up losing because of a strip sack fumble, and then we keep on letting Harrison Smith blitz the quarterback and sack him left and right. And at the end of the day, we just couldn't score enough points. And then last week against Detroit, we just couldn't stop the run. They controlled the game from the beginning, and we just never got that game under control. And then today, we're up 14-0. First quarter, we do a fake punt. I wasn't at home at the time, so I don't know the exact ramifications of that fake punt. I know it was a completed pass, but apparently it was short of the first down
Yeah.
by like a yard.
LaVisca Chenault stepped out of bounds where he could have just powered through. Now
He
somebody
ended up
was
injuring his
diving.
ankle.
Yeah, somebody was diving at his legs, and he kind of like jumped back, and his right foot landed out of bounds while he was trying to put the ball towards the first down marker.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It kind of killed the momentum. I don't hate the play call. I like that we were aggressive. I kept on saying all week if we were going to win, we need to be able to run the ball. Surprisingly enough, in the first half, we were able to run the ball. Chuba, who I think is the better running back between him and Miles Sanders, he had over 50 yards rushing in the first half.
mhm.
But and then in the second half, even though we were down 21 to 14, we got away from the run. And to me, if you're going to beat Miami, you have to be able to control the clock. And we did not do that. We had, I mean, to our defense's credit, it was a tough task from the get go to ask that secondary to cover Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle.
Yeah.
For those who didn't know, we did not have Von Bell today. We did not have Xavier Woods. We did not have J.C. Horn. Brian Burns and Derek Brown came into the game as questionable. They almost didn't play today. Same with Dante Jackson. Um, just injuries galore, man. And LaVisca actually left this game today, and he was in a walking boot after the game. So just more injuries piled up for us. Miles Sanders didn't play today. It's just been tough, man. And at the end of the day, not that injuries are an excuse, but I would rather have had Von Bell and J.C. Horn and Xavier Woods out there to defend this offense.
Or Jeremy Chin.
Jeremy Chin, who's not getting any playing time. I didn't
No,
watch the whole game, so I don't know if he even seen the field that much.
he did not.
Yeah. I think they're trading him, to be honest. We'll hit on that at the end of the episode. I'm sure we'll talk about my Panthers again throughout the week.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, I think Jeremy Chin's out of Carolina. At this point, they're protecting him so he doesn't get injured. Um, but the only positive I will say, Icky played better today. He had a lot of good plays where he was great in pass protection. I like how he stood up for Bryce when he got knocked to the ground by Christian Wilkins, which I believe was a roughing the passer call that wasn't called, or unnecessary roughness, if you want to call it that. Um, the ball had already been thrown away, and then Christian Wilkins shoved Bryce to the ground, and then there was no flag called. The ref was right there. Um, Bryce has been progressing each and every week. If you watch the game today, the commentators were talking about that as well. The guys at CBS during the halftime show were talking about how Bryce is making great decisions. He's making great reads. He's making great adjustments at the line. He was playing well. He's played well for the third straight week. Each game he's gotten better. He's not the problem. I sent you a diagram earlier about an hour ago of it's a diagram that shows yards of separation and it lists all the different receivers. Jonathan Mingo was averaging 1.6 yards separation between him and the DB, which is very low. Braxton Berrios from Miami had like an average of 4.6. So you're talking roughly 5 yards of separation per route. And I'm just using those two as an example. If you look at the chart, it's not any better with any of the other guys. Hayden Hurst, DJ Chark. I think Adam Thielen had the highest separation, and he's not even fast. He's just a great route runner.
Yeah.
I feel bad for Bryce because the offensive line has been inconsistent. The play calling has been inconsistent, and the receivers are just not getting open consistently. Besides Adam Thielen, who's averaging 10 catches a game, 100 yards a game the last 3 weeks.
There's no other option.
Yeah, there's no other option. So
Yeah.
at the end of the day, there's the one bright spot is we have a quarterback. The one downside is we have nothing else.
Well,
So
it be like that sometimes.
yeah.
Let's get into this Saints Texans game. I feel like New Orleans Saints fans has found out what Atlanta fans knew, and a lot of other fans knew. Houston is a good team. They're
Mm-hmm.
not a pushover.
Nope.
The days of you looking at the schedule and going, "Oh, it's just the Houston Texans. That's a dub." Those days are over.
Mm-hmm.
They're a well-coached football team. They're a physical football team. They can match up with anyone. They can play any style that they want to.
Yep.
And it also helps when you have a rookie quarterback who's playing like a top 10 quarterback right now. It helps.
Yeah.
Um,
It's it's crazy to think that 3 weeks ago, when we last recorded,
mhm.
the Texans were coming off a victory, a dominant victory over the Jaguars. Since then, the Jaguars have won 3 straight
Mhm.
and now lead the AFC South. But that just goes to show you how good the Texans are. And the Texans beat them in Jacksonville that week.
Mhm.
Since then, the Jags have looked very good offensively, running the ball, throwing the ball. Their run defense is damn good.
Mhm.
It just goes to show you how well coached this Texans team is. Um, and I could definitely see them making the playoffs this year in the AFC. The
Mhm.
AFC is very competitive, and we learned that today.
I also want to talk about what else New Orleans have learned today. They learned that they were not a quarterback away.
Mm-hmm.
They are a head coach and an offensive coordinator away from being pretty good.
Yeah,
Dennis Allen, man,
not the guy.
how much longer is it going to take for them to say we've seen enough? Like at this point, I feel like Carmichael definitely got to go.
Yeah.
Dennis Allen got to go, and also the man who's been orchestrating the Saints for I don't know the past what 10, 15 years.
15.
Mickey Loomis got to go. It's over. I'm. It's the same old, same old. Like you don't. You always feel like you're in a position to compete for a Super Bowl, and guess what? You're not in a position to compete for a Super Bowl. Your salary
Mhm.
cap is a mess. It's going to continue to be a mess because you keep re-signing players and pushing money down, and oh, the cap is an illusion, and you're going to see.
Mhm.
I feel like this. They need a more progressive front office.
Oh yeah.
Someone is
They
going to
need to
say
look towards the future.
yes, because right now they have none.
Yeah, they have a lot of aging veterans. They're a competitive team and they will be throughout the season, but it's not going to amount to anything. You're not going to be seeing them in the NFC title game. You're not going to be seeing them in the Super Bowl.
No.
Um, and Derek Carr
Now he played well. He played well.
he
I'm not.
did, but I don't think it's going to matter. At the end of the
Yeah.
day, they have a lot they need to work on. I think a lot of that has to do with coaching. They have a good roster. That's not necessarily the question at hand. It's more so the coaching. Dennis Allen needs to go. I don't think they'll fire him mid-season, obviously, but I do think by the end of the year, I think he's gone because I don't think he's the guy. I think they know that. And when he gets ousted, be prepared to see a lot more people in that front office out the door.
Mhm. Yeah. That's enough of them. By the way, they lost. I believe the score was 20-13.
20 to 13. Yep.
Um,
And it was in Houston.
Houston, yeah. They were finally able to pick Bryce, not Bryce,
CJ Stroud. Yeah.
CJ Stroud off. They were they were finally able to pick CJ Stroud off for the first time in his career, but he showed great poise and he bounced back and yeah, he's everything that everyone tried to say he wasn't when those S2 scores came out. So there's
Yeah.
that. All right, so let's last but not least, let's talk about these Tampa Bay Buccaneers who got a little bit of a shellacking by the Detroit Lions, who are also really, really, really good. They're top. If, if they're not the third best team in the NFC, they will. They're probably the fourth. I don't. They're better than the Eagles, in my
Right now,
opinion.
they're actually technically ranked as the number one team in the NFC.
I ain't gonna go that far, but
No, I'm just saying like
yeah,
playoff bracket.
yeah, they're
Um,
they're gonna be a tough out for any team they play. Oh,
their strength of schedule has been tougher than the Eagles and the 49ers. I mean, they beat Kansas City week
yeah,
one. I mean, you can't forget what they did on that.
yeah.
Their only loss, who did they lose to?
Eagles. They lost to the
Eagles.
Eagles.
Yeah, they lost the Eagles.
No,
So,
no,
no, wait, no, wait, they didn't play the Eagles.
no, they didn't. I thought you was talking about the Bucks. The Bucks lost to the Eagles.
Sorry, I'm talking about the Lions.
The Lions lost to
I forget who they lost to. Vikings? No, no, because Vikings, yeah,
hold on,
Vikings were winless when we played them.
hold on.
Um, some fun stats about Baker today. Baker struggled against the Lions,
Mm.
which I find to be funny because
Hey,
Bryce looked
man.
Bryce looked better against the Lions than Baker Mayfield, who has better weapons. Um,
Hey,
Baker came down to earth today. Okay,
you gotta let this go. This wasn't Baker wasn't the reason why y'all team sucked. Okay, it wasn't Baker's fault. It was
I
Ben
mean that's
McAdoo.
fair because at this point we suck again this year. So and we actually have a better quarterback.
It was Ben McAdoo, man. He was the reason why y'all
What's the
sucked.
excuse this year? Frank Reich?
Yeah, yeah.
I'd say so. I'd say
Oh,
Frank and Scott.
yeah. Their only loss was they lost to Seattle 37-31.
That's right. In Detroit, by the way.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, I feel like this was kind of expected if you've been paying attention to football.
Yeah.
The Detroit Lions are for real. They're a really, really good team. They're gonna be playing football well into the winter. Um, Tampa Bay, they still got some things they need to clean up, especially on the offensive line. They got the weapons. They can stay in any game with the weapons they got. I feel like they need to establish the run a little bit more.
Hmm.
But that defense for the most part was keeping them in that game. Even though they gave up the big play to Jameson Williams and they gave up a big play to Amon St. Brown. But other than that,
Yeah.
they did the best
Their
they
secondary has struggled today. Amon St. Brown had 12 catches for 124 yards and a touchdown. Um, Jared Goff threw for 353 yards and two touchdowns. But I will say the Bucks' run defense is dominant because David Montgomery had 6 carries for 14 yards today,
and he left with injury too. So
and he left with an injury.
yeah,
Craig Reynolds had to step in, 10 carries, 15 yards. So
yeah.
Bucks' run defense is legit, and that's something that you guys are going to have to try to find some type of formula for next week. Because if you guys can't run the ball, I don't trust Desmond throwing 40 times to try to win that game.
No, not only do I not trust Desmond throwing 40 times, I also don't trust Arthur Smith calling 40 pass plays. Uh, not now. I need to see more.
Yeah.
But yeah, enough of that. I'm tired of being
Final score was 20-6 on that one.
yeah,
Bucks kicked 2 field goals.
yeah,
Tough game.
tough game. Tough week for the NFC South. We're
Yeah. Yeah.
we kind of got our teeth kicked in, but Sarah, so they say. Um, so yeah, let's get into what do you? It's the Panthers off bye week.
Yes.
What do
I
you
wish it was
expect?
our off season.
Yeah, yeah. What are you expecting to happen during the bye week? Like, what should fellow Panther fans expect coming out of the bye week?
I would expect to hear some trade news during the bye week. Now is the perfect time to pull the trigger on some trades. I think we're going to be sellers in this case. We're 0-6. There's plenty of teams out there who are looking for depth along the secondary and um, edge rushers. Brian Burns, obviously, being that edge rusher that we could trade for
Hmm.
draft capital. Um, you know, I've been on the fence about it. I've heard both sides of it from fans who want him gone to fans who don't want him gone. I'll just say this. He played against a backup left tackle today, and he did not get a sack. Now, I know people are going to argue, well, he doesn't have a running mate. He doesn't have someone on the opposite side. When you're as dominant as people proclaim him to be, you find ways to win your matchup, regardless of who's on your defensive line or the opposite edge rusher. Um, I think at this point, you would be making a mistake to pay him that 28 to 30 million that he's wanting. I think the highest Carolina's gone is around 24 million, 23 million. I just think that where we're at as a franchise, I think we have more holes than people realize. And if we want to have a bright future with Bryce Young, which I think he is the future for our franchise, I think he is a franchise quarterback, but he's not going to be if you don't surround him with weapons. I think Brian Burns is that centerpiece to allow us to get draft capital for the draft next year. I mean, this season's lost, man. We're 0-6. I don't see us doing anything. I think we'll finish the season with maybe 4 wins. Um, it's just unfortunate. There's a lot of good veterans on this team that I think deserve better, and maybe they'll get traded before the deadline. I feel bad for the guys who have been there since they were drafted, like like Brian Burns, like Jeremy Chin, Dante Jackson. Terrace Marshall, who I still believe in as a good receiver. Is he a number one? No, but he can be a damn good number three, possibly a number two in the right scheme. Um, I just think that, you know, we got to do better. And I think we need to make some moves and gain some capital for next year because this season is done to me.
Yeah.
And I know there's been reports and rumors that we might fire the GM bye week. You're not firing your GM during the bye week. You'll fire your GM at the end of the season. I don't foresee that. If it does happen, I'd be surprised. Now, there's been reports that Frank Reich might be fired during the bye week. I'm not buying that either. Um, but I will say I think he needs to relinquish play calling to Thomas Brown for the rest of the season.
He's not gonna do that.
He needs to. Otherwise, yeah, he's done after the year. Because right now we're 0-6, and he said during the press conference today, I know we lost, but I think the offense excelled this week. You think the offense excelled because you got up 14-0?
I mean,
I just I can't back a coach that seems to have no awareness of what's going on. I mean, I could go on for another 30 minutes about just the things that you've seen over the last few weeks. Just go back to the Minnesota game where he was calling a play for Adam Thielen and he didn't realize Adam Thielen wasn't on the field. You want to know what that is? It's because he's play calling and he's trying to be a head coach at the same time. And a lot of times that's very difficult for head coaches to do, even for someone like Andy Reid. You have to be able to coach your team first. Let someone else, trust someone else like Thomas Brown, who you hired him to be an OC, allow him to be the OC and allow him to prove himself. If he sucks and our offense gets worse, then, well, I think David Tepper will have some easy decisions after the year. But you're doing your team a disservice to not at least try to make changes during the bye week. It can't get much worse. We're 0-6. I mean, do you really want us to go 0-17? I mean, let's be honest.
I mean, the people in Chicago would love that. You know?
I'm sure they would. And they can all.
Hey man, y'all made the trade. Y'all made the offer. They just said, "Well, we'll leave it be."
This is why I say about Scott Fitterer.
Yeah. Well, folks, we're about to get out of here, but before we do, a very special edition of the Down Bad Award. Um, on this show, we're not above any criticism. So, with that being said, I'm going to give myself the Down Bad Award, folks. And not for the reason you think. Your boy has been consistently betting on prize picks and consistently losing every week. I bet and I bet and I bet and I lose and I lose and I lose. I'm losing. And don't get me wrong, I'm not putting up big money. I'm not betting my mortgage, folks. But I'm putting some money and I'm losing. And I'm tired of losing. And I'm about to give up. I'm about to give up. I'm about to just start going to church more. Stop being a degenerate, you know what I'm saying? You know, I just keep losing. And I keep losing in the flukiest of ways. I feel like Vegas has got your boy rigged. They got me, they say the house always wins. But damn it, the house is cleaning me, trying to clean me out, trying to beat me to my damn socks. Yeah, I'm giving myself that bad award. I've been having some incredibly bad beats, and I can't stop, folks. I can't stop. I'm trying to make some sense of it. It's just pray for me. If y'all in the comments, y'all got any bad beats, let us know. If you got any Anything you think can work for the parlay, I'm interested in that too, and I'm trying to recoup what I lost. So, with that being said, you got anything you want to say, buddy, before we get up on out of here?
Um, yeah, man. You know, I've been struggling. Okay. And I'm not talking about my personal life. I'm talking about my football life. Okay. Um, my Panthers, 0-6. This is the first time we're 0-6 since 1998. Okay. This is the
Oh,
worst experience that I've had in a year as a Panthers fan.
wait, talking about,
Since
are you giving yourself the Down Bad Award as well?
I'm gonna say it. We got two down bads today. I'm down bad too, man. I'm down real bad. And not because of prize picks, because of my Carolina Panthers, man. We don't have a first round pick, Corey. And right now, if the draft was today, the Chicago Bears would have the number one pick because of us. And that hurts because I'd love to get me Marvin Harrison Jr. to go with Bryce Young. That would be so ideal, but that's not going to happen. You want to know why that's not going to happen? Because we don't have a first round pick. Because we traded that for Bryce Young. Okay.
Yeah,
Now, for those of you who are sitting here saying, well, it's halfway through the season, you don't know what they're going to do in the second half,
yeah, we do.
respectfully, screw that. Okay. We know what's going to happen. Are we going to go 0-17? No, I don't think so. I hope not. I freaking hope not. I was about to curse. I don't have enough time to say what I want to say, but just know the next episode, I'm going to go on a huge rant. But right now, I'm going to do a little rant. I'm going to say, I'm down bad, and I'm sick of being down bad because I've been down bad for the last 3 weeks. 0-6, and it's not getting any easier.
And he's also down bad in fantasy, folks. I don't know if you.
That too. I was 2-0, and now I've lost four straight. So now I'm 2-4. Okay. Does that make you feel good, Corey?
It made me feel dirty, but just keep us in your prayers, folks. Like I said, we love to joke and poke fun at folks, but we're not above being poked fun at as well. Yeah, keep us lifted in prayer, folks. Uh, we're gonna go ahead and get out of here. Make sure you like and subscribe. Make sure you follow us on Twitter/X. Follow us on Instagram. Follow us on I don't know what else we got. I was about to say Snapchat. We ain't got. Please don't follow me on
No,
Snapchat.
I ain't got no snap. Nope.
No, we ain't got that.
Instagram and X, Twitter.
Yeah. Um, YouTube, Spotify, wherever you get your podcast from, Google Podcasts, we'll be on there, folks. Just keep rocking with us. We'll hopefully can take this thing to the next level. Until then, folks.
Peace.